I just don't get it. It just doesn't add up. It's like you're sitting on a gold mine and either you don't know about it or you just don't care. Because I have no idea why it's taken Suzuki India almost a year to hand over the keys to this, the all-new V-Strom 800DE, especially considering that this has all the makings of perhaps the best middleweight adventure motorcycle that your money can buy. And you kind of get the sense from the way this looks as well. It's very understated, it's very boxy, but what will pique your interest is this bright, uncharacteristic colorway. I'm a big fan of this Nardo grey and yellow colorway. I think it looks really sick. And it's kind of the same for the engine as well. So it's a brand new paddle twin 776cc mill from Suzuki, has a longer stroke, has a 270-degree crank, pumps out 83 horsepower and 78 Nm of torque. That's about 7 horsepower less and 3 Nm more compared to the Transalp 750. And also when you fire it up, it's again very understated, very quiet, almost boring. That's until you open the floodgates.
Holy Mother of God! How is that for an uppercut? I did not see that coming, man. I mean, nothing on this motorcycle, the way it sounds, the way it looks, prepares you for the kind of mayhem it is capable of. And if you switch off the traction control, brace yourself for one of the strongest mid-punches of any middleweight ADVs. I cannot fathom how this 232 kg adventure motorcycle is so easy to launch itself in outer space if you're not paying attention to the throttle. And that's what this Suzuki V-Strom 800DE is all about. It's a big fat double patty hamburger of torque. Delicious and juicy at all the right places. And then when you combine that with the closely spaced gear ratios and the slick bidirectional quick shifter, you wish every road was long enough to keep it pinned as you slot through the gears. And that's the crazy part, right? This wasn't the main intent behind this fat torque band. This is like a year-ending bonus that you did not expect, because the real reason why Suzuki tuned the engine this way is essentially to allow you to be a lazy bum, slot the bike in the fourth gear and just relax and actually marvel at the elasticity of this engine, its tractability, and watch it pull seamlessly and strongly irrespective of what gear you're in. And it is this ability to be able to ride in a gear or two higher is also what will help you eke out a better fuel economy and a fuel range of at least about 350 to 370 odd kilometers from its 20-liter tank. But touring is as much about comfort over longer distances, and which is why I'm baffled how this one doesn't get a cruise control. I mean, you have ride-by-wire, you have different engine maps, you have traction control, but you don't have cruise control, and I have no idea why. But what you do get is the first on a production motorcycle, a biaxial primary balancer, which basically means that the balancers are positioned at 90 degrees to the crankshaft, and as you can expect, the main intention here is refinement. So yeah, I was expecting this motorcycle to be really creamy smooth, but there is a resonance which creeps in around 4500 RPM. You can feel it first on the handlebars, then on the pegs, and they kind of stay up to 7800 RPM, which I feel has the potential to be a little bit annoying. But the good news is, in the higher gears, the resonance kind of loses its sting, and in the sixth gear, you will easily and comfortably be able to cruise at 140, 145 kilometers an hour on the right stretch of road. Another thing that deserves credit for making you comfortable here is the windscreen. Usually I'm the first one to complain about windscreens on a adventure motorcycle. This one stands out because I have it in the lowermost setting and it's done a phenomenal job of reducing the buffeting even at these higher speeds. But yeah, I do wish that even though it's adjustable, it had a simple pull-up design which you can do on the go, because right now you have to come to a stop. You will need some tools to be able to adjust the setting that you're happy with. Also in terms of heat, I'm quite impressed, man. I mean, one of the main reasons what Suzuki gave me why this motorcycle took so long to get to me was because the media bikes were having overheating issues. Luckily for me, on this entire test, I've had no issues at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, the engine does heat up. It goes up to 105, 106 degrees, especially in chock-a-block traffic. But then, as soon as you start rolling, the temperature goes down immediately in the lower 90s. And when you're cruising like this, the temperature is hovering like now, yeah, in the lower 80s, which is phenomenal. Which again brings us to the ergonomics, which is as comfortable as it comes on an adventure bike. You have a really relaxed rider's triangle. You have this commanding riding position with this wide handlebar. The foot pegs are perfectly positioned. The seats are well padded for the rider and pillion, and with the intent of long hours in the saddle, which is fantastic. But yes, the seat height is tall. At 855 mm, if you are 5'10 or shorter, this is going to feel intimidating, especially considering its 232 kg curb weight. But then, if you are not as heavy and you're planning to ride solo for most of the time, you can most definitely set the preload to its minimal setting, and that combined with the way the seat has been designed, which tapers closer to the tank, it will make that much easier for you to reach the ground and give you more access to have both your feet firmly on the ground. Which brings us to one of the strongest points of the V-Strom 800DE is the suspension. The Showa suspension on this is fully adjustable, barring compression on the rear shock, and it is perfectly sprung, which essentially makes this, at least in my books, one of the best suspension setups that I've experienced on a middleweight adventure motorcycle. I mean, you can tune it for this magic carpet-like ride quality over broken roads, and then just with a few clicks, you have all the support that you require to ride this like a naked. Also in terms of braking, when you tune the suspension for the sportier side, you have the support that is required to get the most out of these strong brakes without the front diving like crazy. I mean, I'm truly blown at how beautifully this handles despite having such a long wheelbase and a 21-inch front. Plus you also have this wide handlebar which gives you the leverage to tip the motorcycle in a corner with minimal effort. And more importantly, big kudos to the Dunlop tires on this motorcycle, which give you the feedback, the feel and the grip required to have too much fun in corners, which a motorcycle of this shape and size has no business having on the twisty bits. And the good part is that all of this fun is not just restricted on the road. The suspension works just as well also when you get off the beaten path.
You have 220 mm of travel at the front and the back, and of course the ability to tweak the suspension as per the road surface. You have a 21-inch front and a 17-inch rear spoke wheel to conquer any terrain that you might come across. You have also 220 mm of ground clearance, which is ample and plenty for a middleweight ADV. Then you also have two milder engine maps, B and C, to make the power delivery even more linear and even more predictable. You also have the ability to switch off the rear ABS, which is a must when you're riding in the dirt. And you get a special gravel traction control mode to get you out of sticky situations. Even the clutch is nice and light, but I would have preferred it to be the lever to be adjustable, just like the brake lever. and I would definitely have preferred an aluminium bash plate rather than the plastic one that comes short with. And if this is your idea of adventure, then you will definitely need more focused dual purpose tires to really have fun and make the most of this motorcycle in this terrain. But more than anything else, there were just two areas where the Vstrom 800DE left me a little bit wanting, especially here on the trails. First one, it is top heavy. So it does a phenomenal job of masking its 232 kg curve weight when you're going fast or even in the corners. But here, in the really technical terrain and when you're taking U-turns, you feel every ounce of it. And that obviously doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence, especially if you're new to dirt. And secondly, and more importantly, my biggest gripe with this motorcycle is the fact that it doesn't get tubeless spoke wheels like its predecessor, the Vstrom 650 did. And that makes the absence of the main stand a glaring miss on what is otherwise really well-rounded all-round motorcycle. I can bet my life that most potential buyers of this motorcycle who are eyeing this motorcycle would have been happy to cough out another lakh or so for those tubeless spoke wheels, especially considering the fact that at 10.35 lakhs, this is about 65,000 rupees cheaper than its biggest competitor, the Transalp 750, which doesn't get adjustable suspension or the bidirectional quick shifter. I mean, personally, I prefer the engine on the Transalp because I feel it has a lot more character and it's a lot more involving to ride because of the induction roar. But as an overall motorcycle, looking at the capability and at this price point, the Vstrom 800DE is an absolute no-brainer.